Okay, so in this section for 2.5, we're going to be talking about what's called the difference quotient of a function. And so the expression here that we have is f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Okay, and h can't be 0. Now, this is called the difference quotient. And what this is it's an application of your function notation where you're using something other than a number to go in. We saw a little bit of this when we did our even and odd functions where we were plugging in a negative x. In this case, we're going to be plugging in this x plus h portion. And then the goal is that once we get this kind of set up and we start manipulating with it, we should be able to get rid of the divide by h. We should be able to kind of factor some stuff out and work through it, okay? So they're going to ask us to find the difference quotient for this, and I'm going to put our function over here on our whiteboard. And we're going to do a couple of little bits and pieces so that you can kind of see where all of this is going, okay? And I am going to put our difference quotient up over here on this other side just so that you know kind of where we're going when I get ready to go there, okay? So let me stop this. Okay, so here we go. So here's our function, and then here is our difference quotient. So the first thing that I'm going to work with separately, and I'm doing this because I don't want to have to keep track of this fraction for a bit, is I'm going to do f of x plus h, okay? Now, if you remember what this notation means, and is if you want to cover it up with, black marker, and here, let me do something a little bit better. Green marker, because I've got a couple of green markers back here. Disregard my colors here. This is -2 green marker squared. I'm going to do a little better here. Green marker squared plus, disregard my color here, green marker plus 5. Okay, so whatever's underneath this green marker, I'm putting in those two green markers. Okay. So this is going to be an x plus h and an x plus h, okay? Now, working with this, I've got -2, and I'm going to use a set of brackets here to do x plus h, and then this plus is not going to change any of the signs in here, so I'm going to have plus x, plus h, and then I've still got this plus 5, okay? So now, -2, and I'm going to go ahead and FOIL or distribute this. So I'm going to get an x times x, so that's an x squared. X times h is xh. H times x is also xh. And then h times h is h squared. We can close those brackets. And I've still got all of this that was on the end. And now I'm going to, this combined is going to be 2xh, okay? And now I'm going to distribute the -2. So I've got -2x squared minus 4xh, so that -2 times that combo set there, minus 2h squared plus x plus h plus 5, okay? So this is this f of x, excuse me, let me get that out of the glare, okay? This is my f of x plus h, is this whole statement, okay? Now, I'm going to go back up to here, okay? And this is what I'm now going to utilize. So let me see if I can get my glare out from under, okay? So I've got -2x squared minus 4xh minus 2h squared plus x plus h plus 5. Now, when it says minus, I'm going to use a set of parentheses to make sure I subtract the entire original f of x function. If I did not have the set of parentheses here, this subtract would look like it only went with the -2x and not through the whole thing. All of this goes over h, okay? So now I'm going to distribute here, and then we're going to start to see what we can play with. This subtract against that negative is going to be positive 2x squared. Negative times that is going to be minus x, and then negative times that is going to be minus 5 over h. Okay, so now looking at what we got. I've got a minus 2x squared and a plus 2x squared. They will cancel each other out. I have got a positive x and a negative x. They will cancel each other out. I have a positive 5 and a negative 5. They will cancel each other out. So now what I have left plus h. So I have the negative 4xh minus the 2h squared, and then this plus h right here, all over h. Okay. Now, some of y'all may be able to like cancel an h out of every piece right now. Some may need to see. I'm going to factor all of these top pieces have an h in it. So I'm going to factor that. So it leaves me a minus 4x, a minus 2h, because this has an h squared in it, so I'm only taking one. And remember, this is plus 1h. So I need the plus 1 still sitting out here on the end over h. H top and bottom will cancel. So my final answer for this is going to be negative 4x minus 2h plus 1. That's going to be my final answer for this difference quotient, okay? Now, this one, I will say that on this one is one of the ones that's a little more involved than what you would see, because we did have to go through this squaring process right here, which is kind of a lengthy bit, okay? It does create more terms that you then have to bring into the full effect, okay? Not every one of them is going to be like that. A couple of good things, make sure that when you do subtract the f of x in the equation, that you do subtract and you put a set of parentheses around that original piece. That's to make sure you get all of that subtraction handled, okay? Now, what should happen is you should get a line that's like this, where you got several pieces that are able to cancel out, and then the resulting bit, everything should have an h in it so that you can factor it out and then cancel it with the h on the bottom. There may still be h's left in your answer, and if there are, that's fine, okay? But this is the result of our difference quotient.